welcome back to another episode of Clock's Runnin, the podcast for everything flag football officials. I'm your host, Jacob, and I'm joined with...
Ant?
Well, I figured if we're doing game night, I figured we'd have a microphone, like a game show.
That's great, but that's a water bottle. That's not a microphone.
It's close enough, okay? I mean, you just look at the negative in everything. We're going to talk about this when we get home.
Oh, we are? Which home?
I don't know. I thought that's what married couples say.
Okay. Oh man! Well, as advertised, we do have an amazing new segment planned tonight, called the Flag Wed Game. All right, like the newlywed game.
Yep.
But before we get into that, everybody's favorite. Go ahead and introduce him.
Bring on my man, Double D Dean. Let's get the Declan's or the
What's
Double
up?
D Doozy.
What's up, everybody? Jacob, I must say your intros are getting better and better every week.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey Dean, by the way, I wanna say I can admit when I'm wrong. The Bird won last weekend. Congratulations to the Bird and the Cayman Islands. I did lose 50,000 pesos, so that was a big bet.
Dang, hate when you lose $6.
Yeah, it was crazy, but the curse of playoff baggy continues. There's a guy, David Taylor, plays for it. The guy that played for the Bird last year that wasn't there for the finals. But every year that he plays in the playoffs, the team that he plays loses in the semifinals. So it's like it's called playoff baggy, and it came out at just but it really wasn't his fault. The receivers literally had butterfingers in the semifinals, so it's nothing that he could have done. So
were they the minis, the king size, standard? Like what are?
Yeah,
you said they had butterfingers.
We're gonna go like extra large because they were.
Hey yo.
They were like in the bread basket and they were dropping them. So yeah, you can't be doing that in the semifinal.
Can't do that in the semis.
Yeah, and we'll talk all about receivers dropping passes with our next guest for sure. But Dean, hit us with the doozy.
All right, so this is the first one that we're gonna do a USA flag doozy. First it was my first World Championships in Tampa. Obviously wanted to make a good impression. The day was going so smooth. It was a day I was working with Kimmy. She's awesome, by the way. Love Kimmy. And she decided to let me run line. So I was basically running in a three-man crew. I was one on the line of scrimmage. So it was going great. It was coming down to the end of the night. And then we got two teams. It was co-ed. It was a playoff game in co-ed, 5's co-ed. And it was between Nasty and Too Nasty. So right at the beginning, when we called them in for a talk, we were like, captains, please. And then they both came in. And the first thing they said was, you don't have to worry about this game. It's going to be super chill. It's going to be fun. We love each other. We're actually part of the same team. That was a lie. That was the biggest lie ever told at a tournament ever. A few plays went in. It was going good. They were laughing. And then one player made too much contact and the flag came out. And they were like, oh, that's bullshit. You can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we threw a flag. Calm down. First of all, I thought you guys were teammates. You're supposed to be cool. And it got rowdy. It got chippy. We managed to keep somewhat control of it. Well, we did keep control of it. And then at the end of it, right at the end, one of the defenders was looking for a call, or a receiver, or was looking for a call on a defender downfield for PI, and it wasn't a flag. The game was over. We blew the whistle. Game over. Started walking away, and then this player decides to grab the back judge's shoulder and pull him back, right? And he's like, yo, you just going to walk away from me? That's disrespectful. What the fuck, bro? You fat fuck, and pulled him back, right? And so you can bleep that out. But
yeah, apparently, jeez.
Yeah, but it's like we don't care. This is the Double D Doozeys, bro. No holds barred. And of course, when that happens, from one big guy to another, as well as being like technically the crew chief for that game, I immediately went on the defense of my official, and I was like, "You don't fucking put your hands on my official. Don't ever do that. You're done for the tournament. That's contact official. And I'm like, Jacob. Jacob over in his little golf cart comes moseying on, and I'm like,
my little golf cart.
Yeah, and I was like, Jacob, this guy's done for the tournament. He just put hands on an official. This is bullshit. You can't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. And Jacob's like, okay, deep breath, calm down. What happened? Explain to me what happened. And this guy's going off. He's like, you can't disrespect me. I pay money to play in this tournament. I should have rights, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Jacob, please deal with him because he put hands on an official. And he just kept going on. And then Jacob, of course, being Jacob, just smoothed everything over. He wasn't ejected for the tournament, but he was done for the rest of the night, even though that was their last game. So I was like, well, what's the crime then? Like, he's done for the night, so he's going to play tomorrow?
Hey, Jacob, this week's Doozeys pretty good, man. There's something good about you. Yeah.
No, but it was, honestly, because if you didn't come in, it could have obviously escalated a lot more. And it's good to have that director. Like it's good to have directors. Obviously, Jacob was in the right play. I didn't have to yell that much. But it's good that, and that was my first tournament. So I was like, I hope it's not a bad impression. But I think I did pretty good.
Wasn't a great one, but okay.
That's crazy because that Tampa, I called Jacob 5 or 6 different times and he never answered. So I just don't even know. All you had to do was just like, Jacob. Yeah, and he went right over, huh? Cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're probably taking care of a little because I was a rookie, so it was like, we gotta nurture the rookies so that they actually want to come out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, but it's always good when you don't have to call it. Like my goal at any tournament is to not have a director come over, and I did not have a single director come over last time I was in Tampa, which is great. Neither in I think the only other time was in the championship in Nashville, where it was actually it was a championship, but that's for another doozy. We'll leave that for another doozy. I'll leave you guys hanging on the edge for another doozy.
There we go. All right, cool, Dean. Well, we'll see you next week, man. I appreciate the doozy.
Good to see you, Dean. Thanks for throwing me under the bus. I got the hoodie on, so I'm nice and warm. Terrible, bro.
All right, later, guys. Have a good
one. Later. You seem so nice. Oh, everything was cool, and Jacob smoothed it over, but it was the wrong decision.
What I heard.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, let's keep it moving, man. We have a new guest and we have a returning guest. So without further ado, let's bring on Rock and Sam. What up?
What up?
Welcome.
What's going on?
That last segment was pretty great.
Also, just passes.
Say that again.
So,
be clear about the drop passes. Who was it?
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. I think that's what happens when Rock starts dropping passes. You know he's gonna throw a football at another player. That's what's gonna happen.
So, somebody's getting a football thrown at him.
It's either a toss or a punt.
and they don't gotta say, "Oh, I'm gonna get Ant." I can call Jakob and Ant myself. They ain't got.
You got my number.
They ain't got call.
Hey, so Rock, I know you want all the shine tonight, all the limelight, but we're gonna focus on Sam for a little bit. This is your first time on the show. So we want to give you the chance to kind of share your flag football journey, your origin story, what has brought you into flag and here today with us.
All right. So Rock obviously brought me into flag. Once we had Ricky, she's 8 now. Once we had her, she was about 2 or 3 years old, and I was like, listen, I'm coming to all your games, and I'm sitting on the sidelines every game. I was like, let me just see what this is about. I need to work out. I need to stay active. And then one game I went out there, played with a team from around here that isn't together anymore. But that just kind of got it all started. And it really kind of started for me as like my teams were more than flag. Like they were always more family oriented. Like everybody is really close to us and we care about the people. So just kind of stuck along with it.
Cool. So I know Ross, like he wants to play with, like he goes wherever the stars are. He's just always changing teams. Like how do you manage that when he's going to Supreme or he's going over to this team? Like, how do you not follow that?
What you don't know is that like I'm his agent, so like
Boom.
wherever he goes, you gotta talk to me first.
That is correct.
But
I like it.
She's Devon agent too.
Devon's also under me.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. He's always playing with someone different. Whatever gives him the best opportunity, honestly. He just likes to play against comp, so
yeah, no, for sure. So speaking of,
I like when he does ways and just kills his body, but you know. Can't stop him.
Hey,
right.
So Rock, I know you saw we were in Philly last weekend or the weekend before last, and I just gotta say, man, I'm just gonna say it straight up. We're not gonna name the place that we went, but Philly completely disappointed us with their cheesesteak, bro.
Oh man.
Skinny Joe's is the place. Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to Skinny Joe's, so I can't. I didn't recommend you to that. Maybe that was Ed. I don't know.
It wasn't that.
It was Ed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with old head, man.
Oh man.
I like Larry's.
He didn't have to get in the car. That was the thing.
Yeah. We go to Larry's up northeast. And then, we go to Max's down Germantown area. We'll go there too. We'll be around there. But yeah, we stick to our local spot. But that was good watching y'all ref. And your daughter was on a live. She's pretty funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah. she was telling me, she's like,
it's 14-0. I was like, oh, okay. Well, they already won this. And then it comes back. I was like, was it halftime? She was like, I don't know, honestly. Turns out the game was like 7-6. I was like, oh, close. Hilarious.
Yeah,
but we're still engaged.
Yeah, exactly. I just told her, I was like, just talk to them. They want to be talked to, whatever, this or that. One thing she did do, though, we try not to do, is she totally got right in the middle of one of the arguments that was going on.
Bring it here right now. Here's the camera. Like, what do we got?
How you get the views up? People
I guess people love the controversy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was reposted and shared at one point. Apparently, we cost somebody East Coast Nationals bid. I don't know. It happens, but
I don't know. I wish we was there playing, but I had to work. I had to work that weekend, so I was on call, so I couldn't come out there. But I wish I wish we could come to the one that's on our anniversary. But
Oh, geez, dude.
That's
good night. You just put it on. You laid it on thick, bro. Good lord.
Because these are the guys.
I know what that one is.
The Camel City.
Don't drag me into your anniversary.
Yeah.
Sam, we'll talk later. It's fine.
We'll have to talk offline.
We'll talk later.
Hey, they gonna bring me under. I'll bring everybody under.
Bro, you don't even play contact though, man. When's the last time you played in a contact game?
That's my doing.
I do play contact. I play contact with Boone and Dion around in Maryland.
Free Smoke and
with Free Smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, Free Smoke. Okay.
And after every game, he comes to me and says, "See, it wasn't that much contact, was it?" Yeah.
But see, on the flip side, we live for it, so I get it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Well, let's get right into this game. We brought y'all on. You guys have not been prepped. You guys don't know what these questions are. But we want to see how well you know each other. How long you guys been married?
Coming up 11 years.
Nice.
11 years. So this is, you guys should totally I'm looking at least 90%. That's my expectation.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, if you want to go with a 60, maybe.
I was trying to get past it. trying to keep you off the couch, Ed. Like,
hey man, hey bro, you've been on the show before. You know how this goes, man. We gotta rag up.
I appreciate you guys having us on the show. I really
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And your boy doesn't even subscribe to us on YouTube, man. So we can't even have him on yet.
We have to talk to him about that.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
All right, and lay the rules out for everybody watching so they know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. So, an old bull like me, we know the Newlywed Game because we watched it when we were younger. But basically how it goes is, Sam, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to ask you a question. You are answering for yourself. And then Rock he's going to write down the answer that he thinks you will say.
Okay.
All right. And so we'll do a couple questions for you, then we'll move over to Rock, and we'll do it that way. And we'll just see how this goes. Like I said, 90% is my expectation, but but we're gonna give it a go. Jacob, you want to start, or you want me to start?
No, you start first.
Okay. All right. So Sam, here we go. Who takes longer to get ready for game day?
Do I have to give him a chance to write it down?
So you write down your answer.
Oh, you want me to write it down too?
Yeah. Yep.
Who takes longer?
Do I write it big or small or what?
I mean, just so we can
write
see
it
it.
big. Yeah, write it big so we can see it. Okay, you guys ready? Here we go.
Guy.
Oh no!
Oh!
He's gonna lie, but it's him.
Okay, so we're wrong on that one, right? Okay, next one, Sam. If you had to play only one flag position forever, you couldn't play anything else, what position would that be?
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Center. There we go. All right. Okay. All right. One more, and then I'm going to hand it over to Jacob. Who's more likely to celebrate too early before scoring a touchdown?
Oh, I know this answer.
There we go. All right. Okay. Two out of three. Not bad, Jacob. It's on you now.
All right. All right, Sam, if Rock could domesticate any animal that's not a normal pet and keep it as a pet, what would it be? All right.
Whoa,
Very
nice.
cool.
All right. All right.
All right.
Is that? No, go ahead, Jacob.
All right.
One more from me, and then we'll switch to Rock. All right. Rock didn't order cream cheese on his Philly cheesesteak. The order's wrong. Who calls the waiter over and corrects the order? Yeah.
All right.
Rock, same here, man. Same here at my house.
But no, I don't know that either of us would do it.
Okay, so we had 4 out of 5 in round 1. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's move over to Rock. So, Rock, you're answering for yourself, and Sam is going to write down what she thinks you'll answer. Okay? All right, so just to be clear, this is not a midnight snack. I don't care about your ginger snaps, bro. What is your after tourney snack?
Why do you hate on ginger snaps?
Oreos. All right. Okay.
Definitely Oreos.
Pause. The double stuff. Pause.
Hey, no,
In
that's
the refrigerator.
In the refrigerator. The Oreos go in the refrigerator.
Yeah, no
let
shelf.
me, all right, let me ask this question. Are you a dunker?
No. She's a dunker.
I'm a dunker. He's not.
Oh, I'm so
I know it's
disappointed.
sad, right? I know.
So disappointed.
All right, Rock. So what's your go-to excuse after dropping a pass?
Oh, jeez. That would just click with what you just said. That's brutal.
This is gonna be a good one. All right, let me see.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Let's
It
see.
hit my what?
Oh, pick it up, Sam, a little bit.
I don't know.
It hit my hands. I don't know.
I don't drop
I don't drop passes.
Don't drop
He literally drops him. He's like, I don't know what hit me in the hand. I don't know what happened.
Hey, sorry, Sam, but I knew he was gonna say that. I knew that that's what he said.
Well, he knows that I'm gonna say the truth. So.
Oh my gosh.
Dropped like a pass.
All right, cool. All right, Rock, I got one more for you, and then Jacob's turn. Who is the best dressed player on Virginia Elite?
Dress? Gosh. Does anybody care what they wear? I don't know.
You talking about on the field or off the field?
Let's do off the field, since apparently no one cares how they look on the field.
I mean, we're all old, so like. That's what I said.
Yeah, okay, all right.
He's still buying Jordan and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's still buying.
Wearing sweatpants and Crocs.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
All right, go ahead, Jacob.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right. Who would survive longer in a zombie apocalypse?
Wow.
Dang it. I don't want to answer this, but.
My money's on you, Sam. For the record.
I could hide for a long time, though. I could definitely get away for a little bit.
I mean, I think you can manage.
You gotta get bumped.
I just feel like the mom instinct goes into play, and
Yeah,
mom's
but then,
gonna.
like his size, I think is just what kind of gives him. You know, we could give him a little edge.
Yeah, but see, I was gonna say that'll give him an edge for a while, but there's rules to zombies.
I think I can hide. I can hide.
Yeah, I think you got that going for you.
Yeah. Have you seen Last of Us or The Last of Us?
Last of Us. You got Zombieland.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That puny little dude survived that long.
Yep. The little girl surviving.
Yep. Okay.
Oh,
last
thanks
question.
for ruining that show for me.
You weren't gonna watch it anyway. If you haven't watched by now, sucks to suck, dude. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Which Disney character are you most like?
So,
Wow.
Stumped him.
wow.
Yeah, there's like
Disney, so
what? You don't watch Disney?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Next question. We'll skip this one. Okay. Let's see. What traffic sign best describes you on a bad day?
It's a good
I
question.
just read off you.
I don't even know how to.
Okay. All right. Here's an easy one. Here's an easy one. This is a pretty simple. Sam or Rock. Who's more likely to take over the planet as an evil genius?
Oh, if the word genius.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah. All right.
I do like
You got-
Sam put yield down.
Yeah, he did put yield.
Caution.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, she's like, she's really like picking him up, saying Hercules, and then she said yield.
It was going to be a stop sign, but then I was like, whoa, I can yield.
That's a good one. Okay, you got another one, Jacob? You want me to?
That's it. Go ahead. You
Okay,
take
all
round.
right, cool. We're gonna do final round. We'll do 2 each, real quick.
All right.
So, Sam, back to you. Who's more competitive? Oh, there we go. All right. Sam, what is your worst flag habit? All right, I can't wait for this answer. This is gonna be good.
I have a lot, so I'm not sure. It's
Okay.
bad, isn't it?
Rock, what do you got? Missing flags. Ooh.
Wow.
Hey, Sam, he don't drop passes, but you miss flags, apparently. That's crazy.
We're gonna have to talk about that one later.
Car ride home's gonna be fun.
All right, Rock. Let's see if you can redeem yourself these last 2. All right, Rock, you are down. Your team is down 1 point with 5 seconds left. Who is getting the ball?
Is it co-ed?
Yeah, co-ed.
I could draw up the play for you if you wanted. I know We're only down by 1 though, right?
Yeah.
You join up and play?
Yeah, we're gonna win.
All right. Okay. So final question, Rock. Now to be clear, because I know the last time you were on the show, I asked you this question, and you said everybody but your wife, which is crazy that you did that. So I'm going to give you another opportunity, but you can only say one player. All right. Who is your favorite teammate, not your partner?
Oh man, you just gave
Who's my favorite teammate?
This is Rock's
Wow.
Rock's favorite teammate. Okay, all right.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know. Last time he was like Feinstein, and he was like throwing out all these names. And...
He was like, "Who my favorite?" I don't know. Hold up.
All right.
They have matching T-shirts.
Yeah,
but they don't even play with it.
Oh, my dogs. Good big family.
Okay, I think we got 10 out of 14 was the number that I got.
That's not bad. What's that?
That's passing.
That's passing.
What is that percentage, Jacob? You got
80.
71%.
Ooh. Okay.
That's still passing. Still passing.
All right.
Point. We throw in the curve for when Ant and I answer questions. Yeah. I mean, we're covered.
Okay. Well,
that was fun.
Yeah,
That was fun.
Yeah. So, you guys have set the bar at 71%. So we're going to try to have some more couples on to do this kind of thing, and see where you guys hold up, and maybe at some point we'll have a dueling couple kind of show or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
we'd definitely bring you guys back.
That'd be cool.
But before you go, Rock, I do have a really important question to ask you, and I can't have you dodge this, okay? You got to answer.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. All right. Who's getting cut off the men's team this weekend?
This weekend?
Nobody's getting cut. They're all on the roster technically.
It's 18 to 12.
You're welcome, Rock.
18 to 12. Who's getting cut?
Yeah.
I hope they all make it.
I don't know who's I don't know who's getting cut. I don't know.
I mean, if we knew, then obviously he would probably be one of the 18.
Yeah, I mean,
Brutal.
I'm glad I'm glad for all the guys that's there. You know, I wish them nothing but the best. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, so since you,
Yeah, I'm rooting for the hometown.
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right, so
No more Texas and Florida.
there you go. That's like 90% of the team.
Yeah, for sure. The whole 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so since you dodged that question, so I don't know if you saw the news about the NFL. So basically, they're putting to a vote, and one of the speculations would be that essentially one player from every team could go to the Olympics from the NFL. How do you feel about all that?
So one player from each team. So that's 32 players.
Potential players.
Yeah,
represented.
to
That doesn't
potentially
include.
go.
And it's a 10-man roster.
Right.
Yeah, so you're looking at what is it? 32?
32 teams, and that doesn't include like each team has a designated international player, so that wouldn't include them.
Now, are they going against our team, or they have their own team, or because I will bet with our team to still win. You know, if NFL choose to put their team in, I still bet on our team. You know, with Hoosh and all them, Pablo, Belt, blah blah blah. But yeah, I wish them nothing but the best too. They some great athletes. Don't get me wrong, great athletes, but I still go with them.
Okay. So say, the trials that you went to, there were 60 guys. Say of those 60 guys, it's 32 NFL players. How many of them do you think make the final 10? If it's 32 NFL players and whatever that number is, what is that, 28 flag players.
Like say if like what's the dude name from Tyreek Hill? Like if Tyreek Hill was there, Tyreek Hill definitely make the team. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't make the team, but that's just one guy.
I think as of a 10-man roster, I think 8 of them are going to be NFL players and maybe 2 not. And that's probably going to be.
I think it'd be 5 and 5.
See, I lean more towards what Sam thinks. I actually think it would be 9 and 1.
Which is unfortunate, honestly.
It is.
It is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think they have a flag players representation, and that'd be
yeah, and money talks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and this is kind of the big thing about this news is some of the things that they've kind of written into this thing that's going to be voted on is that there's going to be injury protection for anyone that might get hurt at the Olympics. There's going to be salary cap protection for the owners. So if they get hurt, they don't get dinged on their salary cap. And then they
pushing them to play.
Absolutely. It's making it where it's the best for both parties.
Yeah. So interesting news. I just wanted to hear what y'all's thoughts were about it. So where are we going to see you guys next? Since you won't be coming to the Camel City draft tourney,
we'll see them
you guys go.
That.
Yeah, we see you at ECN.
That's right.
There we go. Okay, so all I want to say, Rug, this is your unsportsmanlike warning right here. Okay.
Hey, I will make sure I will clip that out. Make sure I put that out there before the tournament. Sign that. I gotta. That's gonna be the first for anybody. Unsportsmanlike warning before ECN. So,
there you
that's
go.
Hilarious.
All right,
I'm sorry, Krista. I'm sorry.
Man. Well, I appreciate y'all both for coming on. Sam, thank you so much for joining us. And Rock, you're now a vet here. You're an old bull in this show. So this was a good John tonight. This was a good John.
Good John. All right, y'all.
See ya. Be good. Thank you, guys. When are you gonna quit using John?
Bro, I got it down, bro.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I'm telling you, anytime I talk to Travis, anytime I talk to Ed, I use John, I use Bo, and they love it. They're excited about it.
Okay.
Look, man, here's the thing. Everyone that was upset at me, that was saying cream cheese is crazy, I don't want to hear it ever again because I have to, like, broccoli is worse than cream cheese.
Well,
And that was in
yeah,
Philadelphia.
but
That was in
broccoli
Philadelphia.
doesn't belong with anything. That's eating tree trunks. And cream cheese just goes on your bagel in the morning.
That's crazy. I
Or
know
mixed in
you like
dessert.
cheesecake. I know
I
you
love
like
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
Love cheesecake. I just said
Okay,
it's or mixed in dessert.
and jalapeno poppers?
No, we're not eating jalapeno poppers. I just don't like the taste
All
of
right.
jalapenos. That's different.
You want to bring on our next guest? I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done.
All right, cranky pants. Bring my man Craig on.
What up, Craig?
What's up, guys?
Hey, man. Can you turn your camera? See if
Yeah,
there we
there we
go.
go.
There it is. What? Oh, okay, I was wondering what hat you were rocking.
Orioles.
He's sticking
I
true to the
didn't.
Baltimore area.
Yeah, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know the Orioles were still a team, but that's cool.
Camden Yards is pretty famous, bro.
Yeah, the
I'm
Orioles are struggling right now, but it's definitely a fun stadium to go to.
yeah. Is it? I haven't been, or is it right on the water? Is that what makes it cool? Or
No, not necessarily, because the water that it's on is not very cool, the Baltimore Harbor, but it's so it shares a parking lot with the M&T Bank, the Raven Stadium. And it's just a good little area. There's a bunch of bars and restaurants all in walking distance. They have a walkway between the two stadiums for like during the games. They have concerts out there and stuff. It's a fun atmosphere.
yeah. Did you get to ever see Cal Ripken play at all?
When I was younger, yes, actually.
That's
Before
cool.
it was Camden Yards, it was Memorial Stadium. So that's actually where the Colts played and the Orioles played. And my stepfather took me there when I was younger and watched the games and stuff. It was good stuff. Cal Ripken, Billy Ripken, and Cal Ripken Sr. and all that. It was good stuff.
Nice.
Taking a trip
Cool.
down
Well,
memory lane.
Yeah,
yeah. Why not?
Eddie Murray. That was fun.
We could talk. We could talk random sports, but Craig, we brought you on tonight because we want to hear all about ECN East Coast Nationals. I got my shirt on. I don't know what Jacob's doing.
Nice.
He's not prepared, but
Yeah.
When I ever.
but Craig, tell us all about it. What's new and exciting for ECN this year?
Oh, a lot of stuff actually. Pretty much the whole thing is new. So, Jacob can probably talk to a lot of this stuff also, but we did move locations. And that was kind of forced on us. It wasn't really something that we chose to do. Um, we won't really get into too much detail on that, but we did get a new location, which I think is a little bit better of a draw than Richmond, Virginia. We're in Salisbury, Maryland, which is about 20 miles outside of Ocean City, Maryland, which is
Yep.
like a resort town. Fun, got the boardwalk, got the restaurants, got the mini golf, got the beaches, the arcade games, the carnival rides, all that fun stuff. Thrasher's French fries and Fisher's popcorn. So if you've never been there, we'll have to take you.
Yeah, it's a good
It'll
time. It's
Yeah,
definitely a good time in
it's
Ocean
fun.
City.
But
Yeah, I
anyway,
don't.
so we had to jump from Richmond to Salisbury, Maryland. And then on top of that, when we actually went and we found a location, it's a location that we've used locally before. It's a great park, really good owners. Um, I don't know the ins and outs completely, but there was a bunch of drama with the original field, politic wise, between the city and the field, because the parking isn't great, but they can make it work. And there's a bunch of houses around the field, so they didn't like all the traffic coming in and out for the tournaments that they had there. So, working with the county, they actually secured us two high schools that we were able to use. One for the youth and one for the adults. So we actually moved it. I mean, literally, it's probably less than 5 miles down the road from where that original field was. Actually, a little bit closer to Ocean City, a little bit closer to the airport, a little bit closer to the hotels. So it actually ended up working out a little bit better. The only bad thing that happens with that is we had to drastically reduce the team caps, so the number of teams we could get per division and per style, because at that time we actually had quite a few registrations, so we could, it really, I mean, it hurt us. So, we're just going to have to rock with what we have this year. Um, and then, we can revisit and see what's happening next year, which I'm already doing now to try to find some other locations that are a little bit bigger. I don't necessarily mind the spot. What we found, and Jacob, you can probably find, say something to this too, is moving locations, we actually lost some southern teams, but we gained some northern teams.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of demographically wise, some of the more northern teams, it's drivable. Some of the southern teams now, it went from 4 to 6 hours to 6 to 8 or 9 hours,
Yeah,
so
made it a little
it
more
added,
difficult.
but then it went the opposite for the north team. So I think, some of the up top teams, in the Northeast, it just makes more sense for them to come.
Yeah.
So
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm real good with geography, so I completely know what you're talking about as far as
He's
the
not.
north. I know there was a civil war to the north and south, and so we're talking about. I bet that's what we're talking about, right? The northern where. Jacob, what? I'm just trying to relate. You said
what's
northern
wrong,
teams,
Jacob?
southern teams.
Nothing. Nothing.
I
Nothing.
just,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, are there?
go ahead. Are there what?
No.
No, but I
No,
love the ECN shirt. That's good stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I
Speaking of
definitely
that, Will, our vendor that does the clothing for ECN, he'll be back again this year. That's good.
nice.
Okay, cool.
Will's always
Y-
good people. Will and
so
Amy.
so and again, something about East Coast Nationals that's a little bit different than any other tournament that you'll find in the USA Flag Network, in the you know USA Football Network, in the any other network. I don't even want to say the other names, but they uh our prize package for this tournament is unmatched. Every single player on the team gets a T-shirt that wins. Every single player on the team gets a ring when they win. You get a championship award for the team, and MVPs and cash. So you get cash no matter what division you play, whether it's rec, pro, or comp, or combined. There is a cash prize for every single division in this tournament. Um, and that's something that we kind of pride ourselves on.
Yeah.
This tournament is more of a collaboration than like a ownership. We work with organizations up and down the East Coast, even whether they're not actually at the tournament. We get support from up and down the East Coast, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
From Florida all the way up.
Yep.
Not even team wise, but director wise. So a lot of the people that you see at this event, you'll see traveling for USA Flag events. In the past, we had Pat was at the tournament one year. USA Football guy. So we definitely try to do things a little bit differently, and not better or worse, just I could definitely say the prize package is better than anything you will ever be a part of as a
Yeah.
player. I was actually watching a little bit, and Rock was talking about, you guys were talking about when the next time you would see him was. Rock has dominated East Coast Nationals. Him and his teams, Virginia Elite, ever since he came on. And then so did Supreme, actually. You brought up
Yeah.
Feinstein. And then they merged. So it's like they were separate and then they merged. They were both
Yeah.
dominating separately, and then they merged, and now they're dominating. Um, you know, so that's fun to see, at that event too, because you get a lot of teams that you wouldn't see other places, because some of the circuit doesn't come to the East Coast much.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. It barely comes to North Carolina. It doesn't come up, into the Maryland area, the Delaware area, the Pennsylvania, northern Pennsylvania gets a little bit, and then Ohio gets a little bit, but kind of in the DMV area, we feel like we're kind of our own entity, because we like contact flag, um, and that's a little bit different beast.
Yeah.
I saw you smile when I said contact flag. Yeah.
What do you think the contact divisions are going to be the most competitive ones out of all the divisions this year, or what do you think?
Yeah, 100%. That's typical. We're not getting a lot of Texas teams. We're not getting a lot of Florida teams. We're not getting a lot of the teams that play non-contact on a regular basis. Pennsylvania is pretty strong with it. Our area can be strong, but we do good in the lower divisions. We don't do good in the upper divisions. So there's like I think one Florida team, maybe two Florida teams registered. I think maybe there was one Texas team, so there's not a lot of West Coast, not a lot of no contact. So the contact teams are going to be really good and they're maxed out, uh, well, close to being. I think the Pro Comp 5
Pro has
contact division
6.
it has two spots left. That's the other thing that we should probably say real quick is that if there's an open spot, you better take it. Don't wait to get on the wait list and be thrown in, because the reality of it is the wait list, it doesn't, we're not going to be able to open up any spots basically. We're absolutely maxed out completely. So we were thinking some of these other divisions might not fill, but because the ones that were filled, the other ones are filling. So, 6 contact, there's 4 teams registered, we're definitely going to have that division. So, and I have a feeling we're going to get, I was looking at this earlier. We actually have 23 teams on the wait list right now.
It's awesome.
Wow.
So, if we had a venue that was bigger, we would, we'd be able to accept a lot more teams. So that's a little hurtful, but like I said, you have to adjust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to figure it out. You have to make it happen. It's not ideal, but we're gonna make it work. And the teams
Yep.
are gonna have a blast. It is a really cool park. It's a really cool park. We're gonna have a bunch of food vendors there. We're gonna have a bunch of regular vendors there, those kind of things. So it's gonna be like it's gonna have an East Coast Nationals feel for sure.
Yeah, I
You
definitely.
got. Sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's
I was
fine. Hey, this is
hey,
your show, man. I'm just here.
he said food, and I got excited.
I see that. There's
I
no
just wanted to hear.
cheesesteaks. Oh my god.
Oh, okay, well then ask your question. That's
There
it.
might
That's
be.
all
There
I'm
might
saying.
be. You
There
want
probably
cheesesteaks?
will.
We'll have cheesesteaks there.
Craig's gonna get a
Oh,
cheesesteak for you.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I think
what you want to have when you're there is a crab cake, bro.
those things are
yeah.
bomb.
That's what you want to
Okay.
have. There is no crab cake. You might have had a crab cake on the West Coast,
Yeah.
but that's like a fish cake. You've not had a East Coast crab cake, or maybe you have. I don't
There's
know, but
Maryland crab cakes are really good.
there's plenty of people that have crabs on the West Coast too, man. It's fine.
no, but it's different.
No, I think kind of touching on what Craig was saying earlier, like we as a group, we kind of all take a lot of pride in this tournament. I know for myself and Krista, it was our first ever travel tournament to work. And kind of coming together and falling under Mike and Craig's leadership and kind of letting them mentor us and figure out our own path and what works for us. And, you don't always take everything from one person and use every little bit, but there was a lot that I took from both those guys and, have, done where I'm at today, So this tournament always holds a little more, weight for me. And, I always really enjoy this one. So, even, despite the controversy that we've had to deal with the last few months and trying to, get over some of the adversity, I think I think this is still going to be a really good tournament, especially with the turnout of teams. Craig and I talked when this tournament was coming up, and I had said, I was like, if we hit 75, 80 teams, great. That's a win, and we're almost 100 teams into that, so or beyond that.
137 right now.
Yep.
And if we could open it up, we would have another 23 on top of that, and there's still at least a little over a week for registration.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. That's good to hear. I'm excited about it. This will be the second ECN that I'll be at, so we'll be driving to Maryland. Probably have my son and my daughter with me. Why are you shaking your head? I can't drive.
You can definitely do whatever you want. I'm shaking my
I'm
head
not the
because that
one.
is a long
I'm
ass
not.
drive.
I'm not renting a big giant van, so you don't got to worry about me.
I was waiting for that to come out.
Hey man, we weren't going to clip the top of anything for this episode. We were just going to leave it all alone.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, you guys will have fun. We definitely should go to the boardwalk. That's an experience that you can't get anywhere else. We should go to the boardwalk while you guys are there. When you guys get there? When's your plan?
Probably the day before.
Yeah, Friday.
Usually what I do. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's a Saturday, Sunday. So yeah. And kids will be out of school, so it's easier to have some wiggle room as far as like staying later and all that. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
If you're not absolutely exhausted, we'll go check some things out on Friday night. Okay. I know that the drive wears you out. When I take long drives like that, when I get to wherever I want to go, I want to take a nap.
Yeah. Were you sleeping when you destroyed the top of that van? Or
damn.
I was actually wide awake, man. I was wide awake. So miserable. I almost want to tell the story, but I don't want to incriminate myself because it's still out there.
We're still pending right now, so we're gonna leave this.
Everything is still pending.
We're in this purgatory until this Turo purgatory.
Does that, to not go into details, but does that go into like the worst thing that's happened to you at a tournament?
Yeah, pretty close, man. I mean,
you got to think you were
pretty
in Orlando
close.
in 2020.
What'd you say?
I said you were in Orlando in 2020, though.
Yeah. Oh, well, that is definitely the worst.
Yeah.
The last time we were at Austin Tyndall, that was definitely the worst experience in flag football I've ever had. I mean, but the reality of it is, man, sometimes, coming up, Mike and I have been doing this since 2006. So like, we've seen some crazy stuff happen on the football field. Anything from cars driving on the field to, I don't know, craziness. There's no to the FBI coming and shutting down the whole park and not letting anybody leave because they're trying to find somebody and they think they're at the field.
I remember that story.
Yeah, I mean that happened one time. There's definitely some crazy stuff. Refs just, I mean, this isn't too crazy because it probably happens all the time, but refs just not being able to handle it and walking off the field.
Had that happen a few times.
Having to jump in. When I was younger, because I'm about to be 49, so I've been doing it for 20 years. So, my late 20s, being at the field, having to jump in and ref all met 8-man and Dominion 8-man, which is like at the time were the top two teams ever. It's crazy.
It's like the YTG Freaks matchup.
Yeah.
But for 8-man.
And contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you, Craig, do you think that as far as like fights and those kind of negative things that happen at flag tournaments, has that decreased as the years have gone by, or you feel like it's increased?
I think it's probably been pretty standard. It's pretty steady. I it's happened throughout my entire career. I've seen it. It doesn't really faze me because I see it happen so much. I mean, it happens at every freaking event, really. unfortunately.
Yeah.
When we have an event that there's not a melee, we're like, yeah, great, but and I say melee, but it's not that extreme. There's definitely tournaments where there's no fights and it's just a couple pushing, scrubbing, and yelling. But I've definitely seen my share of squabbles over the years. Um,
Yeah.
and and the reality of it is, man, I really think it has a lot to do with how the game is handled. I think it has a lot to do with the officiating. I think it has a lot to do with the organization. It's not all on the players, I don't think. I think it has to do with the environment that they're in and they're playing in also. If you create an environment where it lessens the opportunity for the fighting and the confrontations to happen, they'll happen less.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
provide an environment where anybody can do anything and it doesn't matter, it's gonna get ugly fast,
Yeah.
um
That's true.
but the hard part
Yeah.
is finding a happy medium or finding a way to create that environment, because it's not easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the same with officiating. You want to keep the pace of the play good. There's a lot to factor in. It's trying to find that balance, that happy medium. It's the same thing as like that complex in Arizona. I mean, they literally had like 35 armed security guards.
Yeah. Yep.
like that's extremely restrictive, but that comes with a cost as well.
I don't think we had any
Where
fights.
no, maybe one, right?
And I don't
Jacob
think
Jacob's ready to fight the guy that told him to push his golf cart.
okay, two. Yeah, but I think as far as that went, man, like they started to argue and fight. And we ended up ejecting a player, and in the time it took, I got on the field and immediately, I think I realized it was happening quicker than they did. But we're also used to seeing it, so we also see the signs and see what's happening. So as soon as I got in the middle of it, they're immediately looking at me like, who's gone? Who do we need to boot? And these guys are like, every one of them is Ndamukong Suh's size. So they're all ready just to pick somebody up by their ear and carry them out of the park. So, and if I'm not mistaken, like you had to pay to get in that place.
Yeah,
You did.
they were
yeah.
doing. They were charging admission.
Yeah. So, it kind of don't put yourself in a position where you paid money, a couple dollars, still a couple dollars to get booted out of a place. Like that's, talking to those guys, they were super nice, super cool, but you're fuck around and find out chart with them,
Yeah, it's probably very short.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Jacob, just to ask your opinion real quick, do you feel like Chun has your back more than last year's Vegas or less since that when he punched you in the back?
Well, I mean, I think, the only way we can go is up from here, right? Nah, I think about it. I think about all the times with everybody we work with. The more we work together, the closer we get. The joking around, cutting up, but when the push comes to shove, literally, figuratively, I definitely know. Like I know the guys who are in my corner.
For sure.
And know I can count on them. That's kind of why I'm also a little more willing to dive kind of blindly into these brawls and not think about, oh, hey, if I'm going to get stomped, it's, I know who's going to be there or who's going to do it,
Yeah. For sure. So Craig, is there an official date for the rematch with you and Jacob for a race?
I
have that on
actually
paper?
Oh, that's right. You're the champion, aren't you?
I did beat Booth. Yep.
Yeah. I think there was like 4 or 5 people running in that race.
There's those two, Cassie. Was there anybody else?
I feel like there was like definitely 4. I'm trying to remember who it was.
I can't remember if there was a 4th.
Oh no, it was definitely Cassie.
Cassie was in there.
Yeah,
She's just trucking along.
Cassie and Booth, I think. I definitely, I think, had a little hamstring injury after that I had to heal from.
Yeah, I mean,
I got to remind myself that I'm 40 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, 49 right here, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be 49 this year coming.
Uh,
You guys were talking about something, and I'm, being in flag football for so long, it's super exciting to see how far it's come in the recent years, and you guys were saying something with them on the chat before about the 18, dropping down to the 12.
yeah,
No matter who, if you're one of the 18, you know what I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself, you know
absolutely.
so at this point, really, if you do get cut, the best thing to do is just root for the people that made it,
Yeah,
and try to provide something for the other people, because you made it farther than a lot of other people. And then you guys went to even further and started talking about the NFL and stuff.
hmm
I feel like they still don't know what the hell they're gonna do. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of moving pieces going forward. You know, and this was said also. Money talks, man.
Yeah.
These NFL players, these players that want to play, they throw their some money at something and they're going to be on the team. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's the
Yeah.
reality of it. Um, I wish and would really hope for a few flag players on the team, but who knows? And what happens is some basketball players want to come play, some
Yeah.
NBA players.
hmm
There's such a big, it's not limited to the NFL. Why can't NBA players come? Why
yeah.
can't, because flag football transitions to basketball really easily. It's very, very similar.
And
So I would
something to
almost,
consider. Yeah,
you
there's
know,
something to consider with that is the NBA's in their off season when all that happens.
right. Why wouldn't those guys want to come and play? It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Now, the knowledge of the game, I think, that my overall answer to that thing that always gets thrown out there, who would win, pros or, flag players or whatever, is if you don't tell them the game is happening, you put them on a field, say, NFL guys, you're playing flag football, 5-on-5, no contact. The flag guys are going to win.
Yeah.
If you give in my opinion, if you give the NFL guys, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 practices with flag football, it's going to be more of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's they're just freak athletes. It's going to be hard. The only thing that they're really going to have trouble doing is pulling flags and understanding the schemes.
hmm
Once they get that down and their awareness, their sports awareness, whether it's the NBA or the NFL, their sports awareness is top notch. So they're going to pick that shit up really quickly. You know what I mean? I'm all for the flag people and the staying with flag because it's our game, but it's going to be tough, man. It really is.
Well, Craig, you say all that, but I feel like you might have been at this game back in 1998 when George played. What was it, Hasselback? And it was like
That's funny.
George lost that game, and it was exactly what you said. The NFL guys they showed up and they beat the flag guys, and at that time it was fours, and George's team was like, I mean, they were the best in the country and they couldn't pull it off. So I don't know. I do feel like number one, it won't be a blowout. I don't think flag players are going to blow out a team of NFL players. I feel like it's just ultimately going to come down to like missing an extra point, here or there, that kind of thing. Because
Stopping
let's
before the
just
first, the
yeah,
little
something
stuff.
like that. Because if you look at it like, for example, international play, the United States team, every single time, every single game, the first play they run is a go route to Laval, and there is not an international team that has the speed to stay with him. Well, the NFL guys are going to do the same exact thing, and their speed is another level. Like it's
It
just,
is.
I mean, So I think those kind of things will happen where it'll just be back and forth, a lot of offense, but it'll come down to the schemes of an extra point in the red zone, that kind of stuff. Are NFL players really going to be able to not make contact in the red zone? Where flag players can adjust a little bit, they have more experience in that. But yeah, I mean, the other thing to think about, just as I was reading this news, I'm like, does this mean then the way that they're kind of posing it, all they're talking about is the Olympics. So does that mean that we're going to have flag players that are going to go to the international, the IFAF Continentals, they'll go to IFAF Worlds, maybe the World Games again over the next few years, and then the NFL players are just going to come in and take over at that point and play in the Olympics. So basically, this was just a warm up squad for them. Like,
look at how FIBA works for the U.S. national team. They send basically an alternate team, basically the practice team, to go win the World Cup, the smaller tournaments that the world, the internationally they play, and then for the Olympics, that's when the NBA stars come in.
Well, and there's another sport that would transition to flag football very well too. Soccer players. I feel like those players would do well too. There's such a large community of people out there that are playing different sports that could transition into flag fairly easily.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's that draw ultimately of like being the first, on the first team that plays for Olympic gold for, a version of football in the Olympics. So that, that's going to have that draw. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I just think this is a very different approach that the statements they're making, because it's catering to the owners. And I think up until this point, it's been a lot of talk. Like, there's no way that the owners are going to let their top stars go and do this. And now this presentation is like, well, this is how we make it work for the owners. So what's left at this point, to keep us from taking over, the flag game? And then our flag player is going to look at it and be like, well, we don't want to be the practice squad. Let's go, I can get dual citizenship over here. Or, what does that domino effect look like? But then for the NFL, they already kind of have that in there as well with international players. I don't know how many international players are in the NFL, but I mean, that's another thing to factor in.
I think it's definitely going to be tough for them to figure out how they're going to do it. I think they're still not completely figured out, and it's basically going to. And I'm naive to this because obviously I don't know about those contracts and stuff, but I think isn't there something in NFL or professional contracts that state you can't play competitive sports while you're in season or under contract or something? And again, that goes across all sports, because you don't want your players to get injured. So like, what happens if somebody's already in contract and it stipulates that specifically in their contract? So even if the owner says, hey, you can go play, in their contract it specifically says they can't already. By then, these players may try to put it in their contracts. Some of these young guys coming up, they're thinking about the Olympics. Maybe they have to have their agent say something about that, because I do think they can't do certain things, like you can't go skydiving or you can't do the, stuff.
There's a lot of
puts
that
you at
stuff
risk.
listed. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that's listed that you can't do, and that's the biggest thing. If you look at the memorandum that the whoever puts it out for the ownership meeting next week, it talks about lifting for one player to be able to play, for all the safeguards and insurance basically for them to be able to play.
How do you pick?
That's true.
Yeah, who picks it?
Right.
I think you got to have like a subcommittee with Troy Vincent or somebody go and handpick from each team what makes sense. Because why would you want 32 quarterbacks trying out?
Yeah, no, definitely. And so, well, how does it work with the basketball team? They pick the coaches, the coaching staff, right? And doesn't
Coaches
the
invite.
coaching staff build the team?
Yeah,
Is that
they invite and then they trim and cut to what they want.
So, I mean, maybe something similar
Could
like
be.
that
Yeah.
happens where, the coaching staff and maybe that allows George and Pat the opportunity to be involved in that process.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
but again, how do you not pick somebody with NFL caliber speed? Like,
I mean, if Tyreek Hill tells me he's available to play in the Olympics as a wide receiver, you teach him how to not flag guard and you put some flags on him and let him rock. But on the flip side to that, if Micah Parsons comes in and says, I want to play, I'm saying, where are we going to put you?
yeah, yeah,
That doesn't make sense.
yeah.
So I think it's going to have to be, it's probably going to be the coaching staff that builds it. So I'd be interested to see what happens in the next couple of years.
it'd be fun.
Yeah.
They say they can play flag football and we start seeing NFL guys popping up at all of our tournaments here
That
and
would be
there.
hilarious.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and we've started to see some guys that are like, played in the league for a couple years,
Getting
starting to pop
interested.
up, and yeah,
But we've
for
always
them,
seen
they're
that,
like, yeah, but now they're doing it because they're like, well, I'm gonna get my name out there. I want to figure out, how I can, and I think currently there's 3 players that are in that 18 that have professional football experience. So
J
it's
High.
TD.
Yep. Did
Um,
TD play pro?
yeah, and Wham, Mike Daniels.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, well, there might be a fourth,
Hey.
but anyway. Well, Craig, anything else you want to say about ECN, or any other topics you want to talk about real quick?
Yeah. I mean, I'll throw a couple plugs about ECN. Something that's very important right now. I think a week from tomorrow is the final deadline for teams to pay to keep their spot locked in. So, with so many teams on the wait list, even though you paid your deposit, you can still get knocked out of your spot if you're not paid in full by next Friday. So it's important for teams to know that and make sure that they take care of their payment. They don't have to pay on Event Connect. They can send Cash App, the detail Cash App or Venmo. The details are in the registration email that all the team captains get after they register. Um, Praying for good weather. You always pray for that. And then, just Mike and I and Jacob and Krista and Chris Booth and, like I said, the people that aren't going to be there, the Unks, the Pats, we're still waiting to hear from Chun. The people that may not be there, they're still part of the event and we're excited. Even Mark Smith, he was a kind of a founding director of this event from up north. We
Oh,
definitely
Craig.
we definitely appreciate them.
Yeah.
Mike and I are really excited. We're lining things up, we're getting things straight. So we're going to provide a really good event. We got some great officials. um we're gonna have a really fun event, but just get that final payment in. That's important. We're gonna send out some maps, and we're gonna send out some more exciting stuff about the vendors and different things leading up to the tournament, so everybody knows what's happening. And maybe we'll put some local restaurants. There's some nice places to eat, like little like sports bars and stuff. There's a little river that goes right through the town of Salisbury where we're at. And there's like a bunch of little spots right on the river there that you can go and hang out. And it's a college town, actually, Salisbury State University. So we're literally the high school that we're playing on. Across the road is the college stadium and all the college fields. So we're really smack dab inside of the college town. So it's fun. Um, I mean, that's really all, East Coast Nationals. I think this is going to be our 6th year
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
I was looking, I got
Oh, hey,
Oh, sorry. Got some rings from previous
Nice.
years.
There you go.
Krista does a really good job putting those together.
Krista does a fantastic job. So they
Yeah.
don't all look the same. Got logos on the side,
There you go.
I'm tired of rings. I want to do something different. I voted to do something different, but I got outvoted.
Yeah, like an anklet. What do you
Yeah,
want instead of
earrings, something. I don't know.
Nose
What do
rings.
you, and actually, what do you think about that, man? What do you think about rings? My opinion is it's oversaturated, right? It
It
was
is.
great when it first
Yeah.
came out. Now everybody gets a ring for every tournament. What do you
Yeah.
think?
No,
Same.
I agree completely. I think that rings should be for Worlds in Tampa, and nobody else should be allowed to give out rings. That would be
Well,
my
okay.
opinion.
Well, I'll be the devil's advocate. Rings make your hand go bling.
Really,
Everybody
that's
loves a
the
ring.
that's the
And it's
devil's
become
advocate.
such, I don't know. But also, like, in all seriousness, I do think ECN, like, the rings have become such a staple. Like, it's become such a big part of the tournament. Like, I don't think we could ever, there would be anything that we would ever be able to top with that.
Yeah, it sucks because there's I was about to agree with you.
Yeah,
There's tournaments
whatever.
that have a tradition of something,
Yeah.
and then other people ruin it. So why should the organization that it just like you said has a staple? Like when I ran an organization, we had like a Stanley Cup kind of trophy, so it kept growing, and each month, the winning team and the MVP would get their name on it. It was a cool tradition, and it was something that was unique to us. So, I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be forced to change something if what you're doing everybody appreciates about your tournament. So,
We do have people
yeah,
ask what the rings look like. We get rings this year, right? So it definitely is like that. And if you could pick one other thing besides an anklet, what would be a good prize besides a ring?
you know what? I mean, I'm a t-shirt guy, so I've always appreciated a t-shirt with champs on it. I think that's cool. I know people love the money, but at the end of the day, like if you're playing for the cash prizes, you're never gonna break even. Because like
Nope.
like you split that up to everybody, and it just all it does is pay for dinner that night.
Yep.
The only way it looks really cool is if you trade it all out and turn it in for singles, then maybe it looks like a good amount of money. But that's
I'm the same boat. I mean, I'm old school. I'm not a big fan of the rings. I like the shirts too. And a business standpoint, the shirts give more marketing value. You're wearing the shirt. You go to the store. The shirts are all over. DMVFFL here locally, and before that it was MD Flag. Every league, every tournament, everything we had, we gave out T-shirts to the champions. It was just so cool to be able to go to the store and see somebody I don't know wearing a shirt that has my logo on it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Go to Florida and play, or back then play in a tournament and see somebody wearing a shirt that they won in Maryland. You know what I mean?
yeah,
The shirt,
that's
that's
cool.
one of the reasons I like. The rings are good, but they're just like a trophy. They just sit at your house. Not many people wear the rings around. They're one size fits all, so they don't really fit. I mean, I have my high school ring up there and I've never worn it,
Yeah,
but it's just
yeah.
sitting there. I'm with
Another cool thing I see like out of the LA area, what they do is the league champs get specific flags that say champs of that season, and they change the colors every time, the design. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of something different. So I
Yeah,
don't
we've
know,
done
maybe
that.
a set of poppers. Yeah, Camel City has that, right?
Mm-hmm. We do that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fun. I mean, anytime you give something away, it's going to be appreciated.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
for
figure out
sure.
what the best thing to do is.
Yeah.
I like what the youth are doing. I really like that. I don't want to
The
throw that out
chains.
there because then everybody else will do it. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
I really no. I mean, I like those are nice. You
yeah,
know what
they're
I mean?
cool.
Those are cool. And again,
How
those are
about with
something that you can wear.
Yeah. How about with the other like other sports like in soccer when you win a championship, something about your logo changes. You get like another star or another like stripe on your logo or something like that. I
But
don't
see,
know.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
feel, but people's logos change like they change their underwear.
every day.
You know, some people wear two
You
pairs of
change
underwear
every
a
day?
day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different from soccer organizations that have been around 300 years. So for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And are you going to San Antonio?
yep, I'll be there.
Nice. I will
Yeah.
not be there at that one, but you guys will have a good time. The
Yeah,
adult
I
side
mean,
is very limited.
yeah, okay, man. Well, we don't need to talk about size, you know. I just
No, I don't
Whoa.
mean that. It actually came there was a bunch of registrations at the end, so they got a little boost at
Yeah,
the
we had
end
a
there.
decent little push there at the end.
Yeah, so I mean
yeah.
it's a decent tournament. It just spread out over 3 days, which is unique.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what's the weather? Is it hot in San Antonio right now?
Hot.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
always hot.
It's gonna be 100 in the beginning of the week, and then it's gonna dip down into the 90s for the weekend.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Can't
fun.
wait.
Well,
Yeah, that'll be good.
the park is connected to a water park, right?
No, it backs up to a water park, but that water
Whatever, it's
park is
close.
it's got a very specific clientele. I'll put it that way. We won't go into that.
What does that mean?
No,
So
Weird.
we're not going into it. We're just gonna leave it alone.
What kind of clientele?
No, we're just gonna leave it alone. We're not gonna go down that avenue.
I don't know.
We'll just
But
let
yeah,
that be.
it looks fun. You know, from the Google Maps, it's like, damn, the fields are right
Yeah.
next to the water park.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the name
Um,
of the water park?
Don't.
it's Star. It's
You
the
can't.
Star
You can't
Complex.
go. You can't go to the water park. None of us can go to the water park.
Okay.
You have to have,
All
you have to
right.
have a special membership.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we'll put
Sorry.
it that way.
It's a swingers water park?
No, I said we'll leave it alone, and you just keep just.
Possible. It could be possible.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's
right.
no.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So
I'm really
you
confused.
got San Antonio, then we got East Coast
Yeah.
Nationals, and then
Yeah.
what's
And then
after that?
Camel City Draft Tourney.
Camel
Oh,
City
yeah?
Draft Tournament end of the month.
Okay.
DMVFFL's got a tournament coming up, right?
Yeah, that's
Or is it?
July.
That's July. Yep, that's after Camel City
East-
Draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
What is that tournament?
for DMV,
Yeah, they do one in the middle of July
um,
after San Francisco.
no, let me look. Let me see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, that's cool because I'm trying to go down to Washington D.C. In the middle of the summer. So
You're trying to do what?
go to
So there's
Washington
actually
D.C.
yeah, there's something scheduled on July 6th, but I don't really know what's happening there.
Oh.
I it says free cheese on my schedule. I don't know. Free cheese tournament is Mark Williams idea, I think.
Of
And-
course it is.
And then we
It's
got
food.
no, I like my guy Mark. King of the Hill is the end of August. And then we have Toys for Tots tournament, you know, the always in December.
Yeah.
And then we might have
Cool.
something here or there, you know, in between. You know, this really is the biggest one of the year for us. And it's going to be good times. I'm hoping because it's a little bit later, it won't be so rainy. It won't be the wet season.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Craig. Well, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thanks
guys,
for
it was
coming
good
on.
talking to you. Thanks for
Craig,
having me on.
appreciate you, brother.
No problem. Have a good night.
See you, Craigo.
There we
Craig's so
go.
funny, man.
I had to. I didn't think you were going to mention the van, so I had to do it.
Yeah, we're not through with it yet. We're still ongoing investigation. We're waiting for the insurance companies to sort all that crap out.
I'm still really interested in the clientele of this water park.
We'll talk about that off camera.
Oh man. Okay, so how do you think the Flag Wed game, is that something we want to run with? Do we want more couples?
I think that's a fun idea. I think it was fun. I think we bring on some more couples.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many couples in flag football, whether they're toxic couples or.
Do we bring on side chicks? What if we have side chicks waiting in the backstage, and we just and when if they fail, and we're introducing side chicks or side dudes? Like what if we brought in a side chick and a side dude? How fun would that be?
So you're talking about like the Clocks Runnin Maury edition.
I like Jerry Springer more than Maury.
Okay. Wow, that's wild. I'm up for anything. I'm
yeah,
cool.
I bet you are. Yeah, let's bring it. We need to bring some more couples on. I think that'd be a great idea. It'd be really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a ton for us to be able to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do want to bring up just a couple topics in the wide world of flag football real quick. Oh my
God, here we go. Let's talk about the West Coast and how much they've got going on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry that the West Coast loves our podcast. Like. What do we?
Go ahead. I'm just kidding. Golly,
I wasn't even going to talk about the West Coast.
Yeah, you were.
Now you're just lying. All right, look what I got written on here.
You just wrote that down. Africa, Panama, penis.
All right. What I was actually trying to talk about is the fact that this summer there's going to be 3 big tournaments, international tournaments. They got the European Continental in Paris.
Okay.
In Penis. They've got the America's Continental in Panama City. Okay, in the big stadium. So that's really cool that they're doing that. And then for the first time ever, Africa is going to have their Continentals.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
As well. So I just want to throw that out there. That's something cool, that's whatever, man. So tell me about the Camel City Draft tourney, bro.
It's the tournament of the year, man. It's the summer staple in flag football in my mind. It's Krista just dropped one of the first jerseys that we got, jersey designs.
Yeah.
They're looking fantastic. Krista works with Arel at Carolina Drip Shop. They do a great job collaborating together to come up with what we want, what we need, to make each tournament great. I'm looking forward to it. So far I'm looking at the registration count. We're at 9, but it's early. We usually average about 100 players. 108 players is usually kind of our average. So we'll have a great day of it. Register. The deadline is coming up. We are starting to get a little bit closer because we set the deadline as early as we do so we can get the jerseys ordered and everything like that. So if you get an opportunity, check us out. Reach out to us. The Cash App is Camel City Flag. It did slightly change from what it used to be because scammers be scamming, unfortunately. But yeah, we're really excited. We're looking to bring us some great pieces down. I think you're coming down to do some Clocks Running media stuff. You and Katura. It'll be fun.
Yes, sir.
So we'll have all the gang all together. We'll have a great day.
Yeah, cool. So how many teams do you normally have? 6 teams or
typically 9 to 12.
9 teams?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, cool. Well, I'm excited. Hopefully, people aren't ducking the smoke, as people say.
Just procrastinating. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Same thing they always do.
Yeah. Okay. And then next weekend we're going to be in San Antonio.
Yep.
We might have a little extra time. Maybe we could do an episode together. Can we?
I wanted to do one on the Rocky Steps. You wanted to go eat bad Philly cheesesteak. So maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Who knows?
Oh man, you were all talk because then when we got into Philly, you were like, "Oh, maybe we could just 5 minutes on the Rocky Steps."
I was ready to go, and you guys wanted to stand around that gas station parking lot and talk. Talk about good John, bad John, John.
Okay, I just want to throw this out there to you because she's continued to ask. Katura wants to be on the show. She doesn't understand why she hasn't been a guest yet.
I mean, this is your show. I don't know why you haven't invited her on yet.
You are the one that gets the guest.
Oh, so we're okay. So we're pointing one finger at me and 4 back at you. That's fine. Whatever you got to do, whatever makes you happy. Yeah.
So if we have a little time in San Antonio, maybe we make that happen. The three of us, we have a little together live show. Just throwing it out there.
Why is it got to be little? Because Couture's on the show. Why can't it be a normal size show? Your words, not mine.
All right, fair enough.
I think Couture deserves a regular size show. Actually, I think Couture deserves the full size show because Couture does all the sideline reporting for us.
That's right, and she is killing it on social media. People love her sideline reporting. So, and apparently her lives. I didn't go back and listen to them.
They're funny. They are funny. She's really funny.
Yeah, but that being said, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
We got merch.
We got a ton of merch, guys. We've got ref shirts. We've got hoodies. We've got polos. We've got short sleeve, long sleeve. We got joggers, shiesty, backpacks, front packs. We got it all. Shout out Uncle Peril and Unc for hooking us up and making sure we're all looking great. We've got all of that. Check out the show.
Nobody has a better ref jersey than what we produce, man. Come on.
Okay, well, I have 3 different ones, so I'm not going to answer that question. Anyways, so
I wasn't asking.
I'm aware. Check us out on check our link tree. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, Your Space. All the places you can get your podcast. YouTube is the best place to see it because you get to see our faces, see our ugly mug, repping Jordan the logo. I'm going to try to get a couple little video shorts of him this weekend where him and I are going and reffing a youth league on Saturday. So we'll be out there together. But yeah, just check us out. If you haven't liked, subscribed, or shared already, please do so. We spend a lot of time doing this. The support helps us. So that shows us you guys are listening, you guys are engaged. So we appreciate it. We're also coming up on 4,000 followers on Instagram. Got a giveaway going on. Ant's giving away to himself apparently.
What?
Oh, okay. Well, I saw your name in the drawing. Anyways,
hey, so, I'm sorry that I entered in the drawing.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that's how it works, but that's fine. You can't have a drawing and then enter in the drawing. That's like playing in your. Never mind. Anyways, we have a drawing. Check out the post where the drawing is. All you gotta do is be a follower on Instagram, tag some friends. Let's get these likes up. We're close. We've got to be pretty close. We're probably around 50.
Yeah, we're like 40 something away.
We're 40 something away. Yeah, that's not even a real number, but we're 40 something away. So check us out. We're as soon as we hit 4K, we'll do the drawing. We'll put it on the spin the wheel thing or whatever Ant decides to do, and probably make himself win. But however it works, we'll make it happen. But yeah, we appreciate all the support.
It's like that Office episode where Jim like does the employee of the month, and then Dwight makes it where Jim wins. You ever see?
Are you finally just now watching The Office?
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but
Oh my gosh.
I'm making my way through my first go at The Office. Yeah,
And you've been with never mind.
it's funny. It's a funny show.
Yeah. Wrap it up. Wrap this up.
Anyway, let me just
I
say
can't say. Go ahead. Say your piece.
let me just say this about the 4K. Super extra awesome, crazy, cool, amazing giveaway. We have a mystery box planned. Okay, we're gonna get some help from our sponsors. We're gonna throw all kinds of goodies in this mystery box. We have, I don't know, 6 or 7. I'm not included. Don't worry. We got like 6 or 7 people that have actually followed the instructions. Okay, and they already liked us. They tagged 3 of their friends, and for an extra entry, they either subscribed to YouTube or they shared the post to their story. All right. So shout out to my guy J Day, because he was like right away. He was like, "Yep, I'm in." Da, 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 da. Okay. So he followed the instructions. But when we hit 4K, whoever's in is in, and then Jacob's gonna do some crazy iPhone thing where all these names get on a spinning wheel, and Siri decides who the winner is, and then we will put together a mystery box, catered to the person that wins. Because we don't want to give a ref jersey to a player that's never going to ref. But maybe we'd come up with something, a set of flags or something like that, or
Your world, Ant. Whatever you want, man.
Anyway, man, this brought to you by our friend Kev Tacky Bar.
He's got UFL guys doing it. I think it's I think it's the Nighthawks team is starting to use
Battlehawks, bro. The Battlehawks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we're name dropping now. That's cool. Yeah, he's got the Battlehawks using Tacky Bar, using the spray on the football. I think that's really cool. He's reaching new heights everywhere he goes. So check my guy out. Check out Smackin'. Are we trying more of them? Obviously not, because those aren't open.
Yeah, I tried some more. I tried garlic parmesan, lemon pepper.
Okay, yeah.
I did the OG flavor.
Yeah.
What was the other one I tried? I don't know.
I had
they've all been
churro
good.
while we were doing the show.
Yeah, you didn't give me that one for some reason. So I'm excited about this. Cheddar jalapeno.
Gross,
Have you tried that one yet?
No, I don't like jalapeno.
All right, cool, man. Is there any green vegetable that you like?
Yeah, zucchini, cucumbers, lettuce.
Oh, okay, the ones that provide no
peppers.
nutritional value.
All of those provide nutritional value.
Lettuce?
Lettuce does. Lettuce is green water.
Okay.
What else? What else? Green beans.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, anyway, you will see us next. What?
I don't know. Keep going.
All right, man. Hey, thank you for Rock and Sam for coming on, being our first guest of the Flag Wed Game. Dean, thank you so much for your doozy as usual, and for throwing Jacob under the bus so I didn't have to tonight.
I mean, you did it anyways.
Thank you to Craig. We appreciate you just telling us all about ECN. I'm excited about it. I know it's just going to be a great turnout, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Me and Katara will both be officiating. I'll probably have my son, might have my youngest daughter make her first tournament appearance, and you guys aren't even ready for my youngest daughter, that is for sure. So that being said, Jacob, thank you for co-hosting this show with me. This is not just my show. Okay. You're a big part of this.
Okay.
And thank you to our 3,953 followers on Instagram, and everybody except for Devon that doesn't subscribe to us on YouTube. So everyone that subscribes on YouTube, thank you for watching our show. We appreciate it. Please, this is the best way to watch the show. So subscribe to YouTube so you know when we're back on, and this will be posted here in a little bit here on Thursday night. So
Yep.
cool. Y'all have a good night.
See ya.